Three airs for the Beggar's Opera. Air 22 by John Gay. Read for LibriVox.org by Schempf. Youth's the season made for joys. Love is then our duty. She alone who that employs well deserves her beauty. Let's be gay while we may. Beauty's a flower despised in decay. Let us drink and sport today. Ours is not tomorrow. Love with youth flies swift away. Age is naught but sorrow. Dance and sing. Time's on the wing. Life never knows the return of spring. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Andante by Frederick George Scott. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. The days and weeks are going, love. The years roll on apace, and the hand of time is showing, love, in the care lines on thy face. But the tie that bound our hearts, love, in the morning's golden haze, is a tie that never parts, love, with the passing of the days. For though death's arm be strong, love, our love its light will shed, and like a glorious song, love, will live when death is dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Bee is Not Afraid of Me by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. The bee is not afraid of me. I know the butterfly. The pretty people in the woods receive me cordially. The brooks laugh louder when I come. The breezes madder play. Wherefore mine eyes thy silver mists? Wherefore, O summer's day? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Cherry Blossom Wand by Anna Wickham. Read for LibriVox.org by Elizabeth Parsons. I will pluck from my tree a cherry blossom wand, and carry it in my merciless hand. So I will drive you, so bewitch your eyes, with a beautiful thing that can never grow wise. Light are the petals that fall from the bough, and lighter the love that I offer you now. In a spring day shall the tale be told of the beautiful things that will never grow old. The blossom shall fall in the night wind, and I will leave you so to be kind. Eternal in beauty are short-lived flowers, eternal in beauty these exquisite hours. I will pluck from my tree a cherry blossom wand, and carry it in my merciless hand. So I will drive you, so bewitch your eyes, with a beautiful thing that shall never grow wise. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Chrysanthemums in the Eastern Garden by Po Chui. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. The days of my youth left me long ago, and now in their turn dwindle my years of prime. With what thoughts of sadness and loneliness I walk again in this cold, deserted place. In the midst of the garden long I stand alone, the sunshine faint, the wind and dew chill. The autumn lettuce is tangled and turned to seed. The fair trees are blighted and withered away. All that is left are a few chrysanthemum flowers that have newly opened beneath the wattled fence. I had brought wine and meant to fill my cup, when the sight of these made me stay my hand. I remember when I was young how easily my mood changed from sad to gay. If I saw wine, no matter at what season, before I drank it, my heart was already glad. But now that age comes, a moment of joy is harder and harder to get. And always I fear that when I am quite old, the strongest liquor will leave me comfortless. Therefore I ask you, late chrysanthemum flower, at this sad season, why do you bloom alone? Though well I know that it was not for my sake, taught by you, for a while I will open my face. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Comforted by Anonymous. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Comforted. Then she arose with solemn eyes, and moving through the vocal dark, sat down, with bitter, ceaseless sighs, the river tones to hark, deep in the forest dark. Sick, sick she was of life and light. She longed for shadow and for death, and, by the river in the night, thus to her thought gave breath, her hungry wish for death. Shall I not die, beloved, and free my weary, hopeless, breaking heart? Shall I not dare death, love, said she, and seek thee where thou art? Life keeps our souls apart. So weak, my darling, couldst thou be? A far voice stirred the pulseless air. Thus vainly wouldst thou seek for me. My heaven thou couldst not share. Such death were love's despair. Then through the long lone night she prayed. At last, how weak my dream, said she. I'll meet the future unafraid. I will grow worthy thee. I will not flinch, said she. I will not leave both souls so lone. Where thou art, cowards cannot be. I will not wrong our love, mine own. At last I shall win thee. I will be brave, said she. Then she arose with patient eyes, and turning faced the incoming day. There, love, the path to meet thee lies, said she. I went astray, but now I know the way. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dearest, This One Day We Own by Augusta Webster. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Dearest, this one day we own, stolen from the crowd and press. Let it be sweet silences. We two, heart in heart, alone. Any speech were less. We are weary, even thus. Talk might turn to discontent, else be practised merriment. Earth and sky will speak for us, nearer as we meant. We two in the stillness, dear. Fair dreams come without our quest. Not to talk of life is best. Ah, our holiday is here. Let it all be rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Eulalie by Edgar Allan Poe. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Olsen Fitak, Los Angeles. I dwelt alone in a world of moan, and my soul was a stagnant tide, till the fair and gentle Eulalie became my blushing bride, till the yellow-haired young Eulalie became my smiling bride. Ah, less bright the stars of the night than the eyes of the radiant girl, and never a flake that the vapour can make with the moon tints of purple and pearl, can vie with the modest Eulalie's most unregarded curl, can compare with the bright-eyed Eulalie's most humble and careless curl. Now doubt, now pain, come never again, for her soul gives me sigh for sigh, and all day long shines bright and strong, Astarte within the sky, while ever to her dear Eulalie upturns her matron eye, while ever to her young Eulalie upturns her violet eye. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Frostbound by Violet Jacob. Read for LibriVox.org by Elizabeth Parsons. When winter's pulse seems dead beneath the snow and has no throb to give, warm your cold heart at mine, beloved, and so shall your heart live. For mine is fire, a furnace strong and red. Look up into my eyes. There shall you see a flame to make the dead take life and rise. My eyes are brown, and yours are still and gray, still as the frost-bound lake, whose depths are sleeping in the icy sway, and will not wake. Soundless they are below the leaden sky, bound with that silent chain. Yet chains may fall, and those that fettered lie may live again. Yes, turn away, grey eyes, you dare not face in mine the flame of life. When frost meets fire, 'tis but a little space that ends the strife. Then comes the hour when, breaking from their bands, the swirling floods run free, and you, beloved, shall stretch your drowning hands and cling to me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Labourer's Hymn by Bernard Gilbert. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. We have slaved for you long days and nights of bent and weary lives, giving the strength of our muscles, our sweat, and our sons and wives, with less food than your horses, and homes less warm than your hives. We have plowed and dug and sowed and reaped the seasons through and through. We have gathered in your grain and raised the harvest home for you, who gave starvation pay to us and kept from us our due. We asked for land and freedom, the right to till our own, to harvest and to garner for ourselves what we had sown. We sought the fruit of our labor. You granted us a stone. Who gave our lives to your children, who pledged our souls to thine, who made you Lord and Master, and placed us with the kine, who gave you leave to drink our sweat and mix our blood with wine, to save the land for your children, who denied their country's wage. Our sons have left their homes to fight, to guard your heritage. When they return, ah, woe to you before their righteous rage. You held the land in sufferance, to answer for your right, to cherish those beneath you, and lead them into fight. You have refused all payment, and trampled in your might. Our sons shall trample you and yours in their bloody and righteous rage, who hid at home in shelter, whilst they paid for the land its wage. They fought and died for the land, and they shall enter their heritage. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Live Blindly and Upon the Hour by Trumbull Stickney. Read for LibriVox.org by Phil Schempf. Live blindly and upon the hour. The Lord, who was the future, died full long ago. Knowledge which is the past is folly. Go, poor child, and be not to thyself abhorred. Around thine earth sun-winged winds do blow, and planets roll. A meteor draws his sword. The rainbow breaks his seven-colored cord, and the long strips of river silver flow. Awake, give thyself to the lovely hours. Drinking their lips, catch thou the dream in flight about their fragile hairs, aerial gold. Thou art divine, thou livest, as of old Apollo springing naked to the light, and all his islands shivered into flowers. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Native Lament for Tusitala by a Samoan tribal chief. Translated from Samoan by Lloyd Osborne. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Native Lament for Tusitala. Listen, O this world, as I tell of the disaster that befell in the late afternoon, that broke like a wave of the sea, suddenly and swiftly blinding our eyes. Alas for Lois, who speaks, tears in his voice, refrain, groan, and weep, O my heart in its sorrow. Alas for Tusitala, who rests in the forest. Aimlessly we wait and wonder, will he come again? Lament, O Vailima, waiting and ever waiting. Let us search and inquire of the captains of ships. Be not angry, but has not Tusitala come? Tuila, sorrowing one, come hither, prepare me a letter, I will carry it. Let her Majesty, Queen Victoria, be told, that Tusitala, the loving one, has been taken home. Refrain, groan, and weep, O my heart in its sorrow. Alas for Tusitala, who rests in the forest. Alas, my heart weeps with anxious pity as I think of the days before us, of the white men gathering for the Christmas assembly. Alas for Alola, left in her loneliness, and the men of Vailima who weep together, their leader being taken. Refrain, groan, and weep, O my heart in its sorrow. Alas for Tusitala, who sleeps in the forest. Alas, O my heart, it weeps unceasingly when I think of his illness, coming upon him with so fatal a swiftness. Would that it had waited a word or a glance from him, or some token from us of our love. Refrain, groan, and weep, O my heart in its sorrow. Alas for Tusitala, who sleeps in the forest. Grief, O my heart, I cannot bear to look on at the chiefs who are assembling. Alas, Tusitala, thou art not here. I look hither and thither in vain for thee. Refrain, groan, and weep, O my heart in its sorrow. Alas for Tusitala, he sleeps in the forest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
No News from the War by Augusta Webster, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. 1. At the Camp. Is she sitting in the meadow where the brook leaps to the mill, leaning low against the poplar, dreamily and still? Now with joined hands grave, now smiling, gathering now and then from her lap her woodland darlings, pale sweet cyclamen? Sitting as she sat that evening, trying to feel that sweet same, who was waiting me and knew not, feel as when I came? Feel again the strange shy newness, the betrothing one first kiss? Oh, my own, you are remembering in an hour like this. 2. In the meadow. Here it was he made me promise him. He stood beneath that branch. Here was his seat, just where the bole's shade makes the sunlights dim, beside me, at my feet. Ah, since, so many times we have sat here, and who can tell when that shall be again? My love, my love! But what have I to fear? Could prayers like mine be vain? He will not fall, my hero. He will come, bringing ripe honours more to honour me. He will come scatheless back, and tell his home he helped to keep it free. Oh, love, I was so proud of you before. How can I be so much prouder now? And how can I grow prouder more and more? Ah, but my heart knows how. 3. From a special correspondence letter. And still no news to matter. Fights each day, hundreds of killed and wounded. But we wait this great impending battle which, they say, will be more terrible even than the late. It must come soon. Tomorrow it might be. Now, since I can tell you nothing, let me give an incident, merely to make you see how near to death all of us here must live. This morning, on my chosen slope, from whence my watch, I thought, was safe, I chanced to see a young and stalwart captain leap a fence, to pluck a cyclamen not far from me, which made me note his face. This afternoon, on that same slope, I saw his body lie among a dozen. Well, you may look soon for tidings of some moment. Now, goodbye. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
O Gather Me the Rose by William Ernest Henley. Read for LibriVox.org by Phil Schempf. O gather me the rose while yet in flower we find it. For summer smiles, but summer goes, and winter waits behind it. For with the dream forgone the deed forborne forever, the warm regret will canker on, and time will turn him never. So well it were to love, my love, and cheat of any laughter, the death beneath us and above, the dark before and after, the myrtle and the rose, the sunshine and the swallow, the dream that comes, the wish that goes, the memories that follow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Oh, Fools! By Bernard Gilbert. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. O fools, who plough with hunger faint, who reap the harvest lacking grain! O sheep, who offer no complaint! O worms, who dare not turn again! The farmer leads the best of lives. His food pours in, abundant feast. Full fed upon your sweat he thrives. And you are but a beast. Each day you tend the growing corn. The ox shall not be muzzled, true. All animals must have their turn, but less than any beast are you. The horse is stabled, dry and warm. His food is measured, manger full. The sheep is valued on the farm. A price is found for meat and wool. You are but a working man. Your wages run from day to day. Your wife and brood live as they can. They count for no return of pay. Old age creeps o'er your wrinkled face. your shoulders droop toward the soil. When, faltering, you leave the race, the workhouse well repays your toil. O piteous soul, with none to care, at length they recognize your worth, and England yields herself your share, a pauper grave in Mother Earth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Oh, to be home, by Bernard Gilbert. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Oh, to be home, now that the autumn's coming, where the clover's nodding and the bees are humming, where the sun is scorching over fields of hay, and the country's ready for the harvest day, where the bullocks stand knee-deep in meadows browsing, or underneath the shady trees are drowsing, where the corn is turning color, fit to reap, and in the sun the horses lie asleep. Oh, to be home, now that the harvest's ready, now the hay is gathered and the weather's steady, now the reaper sails across the fields are flying, and the barley, white as driven snow, is dying, when overhead the harvest moon rides full, and daybreak brings a touch of frosty wool, while stackyards clear are ready for their turn, and farmers smile across the level hern. Oh, to be home, now that the winter's nigh, and swifts by millions flit about the sky, when thatchers all get busy with their pegs, and horses out at grass can stretch their legs, when inns at night are full of tired men who've had a bumping harvest in the fen. 'Tis then, none but a fool would roam. 'Tis then, I wish I were at home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Owl by Edward Thomas. Read for LibriVox.org by John N. Daly. Downhill I came, hungry and yet not starved, cold, yet had heat within me that was proof against the north wind, tired, yet so that rest had seemed the sweetest thing under a roof. Then at the inn I had food, fire, and rest, knowing how hungry, cold, and tired was I. All of the night was quite barred out except an owl's cry, a most melancholy cry. Shaken out long and clear upon the hill, no merry note, nor cause of merriment, but one telling me plain what I escaped and others could not, that night, as in I went. And salted was my food and my repose, salted and sobered too by the bird's voice speaking for all who lay under the stars, soldiers and poor, unable to rejoice. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Perdita by Eli L. Huggins. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. Far away under Hesper, in seas never crossed, like a faint uttered whisper, forgotten and lost, where no sail ever flies o'er the face of the deep, a lost island lies, forgotten, asleep. An island reposes, distant and dim, where a cloud veil of roses never uncloses, dreams and reposes on the horizon's rim. An island arrayed in such magical grace it would seem to be made for some happier race. Each valley and bower has a charm of its own, a perfume each flower, elsewhere unknown, a charm of such power that once known to the heart, if but for an hour, it can never depart. E'en the surges of ocean, ceasing their roar, their rage and commotion, sigh in on the shore with a melody saintly, as vespers that seem chanted so quaintly by sisters so saintly, mingling so faintly with the voice of a dream. One summer-time olden, that standeth alone with its memories golden, that isle was my own. O island enchanted, where now does she rove? The bright nymph that haunted thy fountain and grove, while still at her side, wherever she strayed, by the mountain or tide, my footsteps were stayed? Do our pulses still beat to the pulses of yore? Say now, do her feet tread some pitiless shore, still hoping to meet one who cometh no more? Oh, that summer! Its ray in my heart lingers yet, long after the day-star it came from has set. My star of the night and of morning was she, my song-bird, my white-winged bark on the sea, my rainbow, illuming with beauty and light, my rose-garden, blooming, sweetly perfuming the hours of the night. But at last, in its fleetness, it seemed that each day from the charm and the sweetness took something away, till the flowers all faded from summer's bright crown, the skies were o'ershadowed, the forests were brown. In the voices of morning there crept a new tone, a faint whispered warning from regions unknown, and over each heart stole a mystical fear that our joy would depart with the flight of the year. A pale, cold newcomer had entered our isle, from a land beyond summer and sunshine and smile, subduing us quite, though we saw not his face, as winter gives blight when it cometh apace. Her glances and mine sought each other no more, each fearing some sign not seen there before. Yet no word was revealing misgiving or chill, each sought for concealing the deathly congealing foreboding of ill. But at last came a night when our last song was sung, and like children in fright together we clung. No farewell was spoken, our voices were dumb, but we knew without token that parting was come. In the darkness that bound us a night-bird did sing, and the black air around us was moved by his wing. As in vulture waves sweeping he sped from the shore, and away from my keeping my day-star he tore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Premonition by George Santayana. Read for LibriVox.org by Matt Ferrard. The muffled syllables that nature speaks fill us with deeper longing for her word. She hides a meaning that the spirit seeks. She makes a sweeter music than is heard. A hidden light illumines all our seeing. An unknown love enchants our solitude. We feel and know that from the depths of being exhales an infinite, a perfect good. Though the heart wear the garment of its sorrow, and be not happy like a naked star, yet from the thought of peace some peace we borrow, some rapture from the rapture felt afar. Our heart strings are too coarse for nature's fingers to wake her purest melodies upon, and the harsh tremor that among them lingers will into sweeter silence die anon. We catch the broken prelude and suggestion of things unuttered, needing to be sung. We know the burden of them, and their question lies heavy on the heart, nor finds a tongue. Till haply, Lightning through the storm of ages, our sullen secret flash from sky to sky, glowing in some diviner poet's pages, and swelling into rapture from this sigh. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Prologue to Alice by Lewis Carroll. Read by Linda Olsen Fitak, Los Angeles. All in the golden afternoon, full leisurely we glide. For both our oars with little skill by little arms are plied, while little hands make vain pretence our wanderings to guide. Ah, cruel three, in such an hour, beneath such dreamy weather, to beg a tale of breath too weak to stir the tiniest feather. Yet what can one poor voice avail against 3 tongues together? Imperious Prima flashes forth her edict to begin it. In gentler tones, Secunda hopes there will be nonsense in it, while Tertia interrupts the tale not more than once a minute. Anon, to sudden silence won, in fancy they pursue the dream child moving through a land of wonders wild and new, in friendly chat with bird or beast, and half believe it true. And ever, as the story drained the wells of fancy dry, and faintly strove that weary one to put the subject by, the rest next time. It is next time, the happy voices cry. Thus grew the tale of Wonderland, thus slowly, one by one, its quaint events were hammered out, and now the tale is done. And home we steer, a merry crew, beneath the setting sun. Alice, a childish story take, and with a gentle hand lay it where childhood's dreams are twined in memory's mystic band, like pilgrims' withered wreath of flowers plucked in a far-off land. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Rain by William Safire. Read for LibriVox.org by Elizabeth Parsons. Like crawling black monsters, the big clouds tap at my window. Their shooting liquid fingers slide over the staring panes and merge on the red wall. Some of the fingers pull at the hinges and whisper insistently, "Let us come in." The cruel wind whips and drives us till we are sore and in despair. But I cannot harbor the big crawling black clouds. I cannot save them from the angry wind. In a tiny crevice of my aching heart, there is a big storm brewing, and loud clamor and constant prayer for the reflection of snow-capped mountains on a distant lake. Tired and dazed, I sit on a bearskin and timidly listen to the concert of storms. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Olsen Fitak, Los Angeles. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor, Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, this it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon I heard again a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not an instant stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven. Ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on that placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further then he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope the melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden if, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked, upstarting, "get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sea-Sighing by Edward Dowden. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. This is the burden of the sea, loss, failure, sorrows manifold, yet something, though the voice sound free, remains untold. Listen, that secret sigh again, kept very low, a whole heart's waste. What means this inwardness of pain, this sob repressed? some ancient sin, some supreme wrong, some huge attempt God brought to naught, all over while the world was young, and ne'er forgot. Those lips, which open wide and cry, weak as pale flowers or trembling birds, are proud, and fixed immutably against such words. Confession from that burdened soul no ghostly counsellor may win, could such as we receive its whole passion and sin. In this high presence, priest or king, prophet or singer of the earth, with yon cast seaweed were a thing of equal worth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song of Khan Zada by Lawrence Hope. Read for LibriVox.org by John N. Daly. As one may sip a stranger's bowl, you gave yourself, but not your soul. I wonder, now that time has passed, where you will come to rest at last. You gave your beauty for an hour, I held it gently as a flower. You wished to leave me, told me so. I kissed your feet and let you go. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording by Rebecca S. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any she belied with false compare. End of sonnet. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. Sonnet 65 by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording by Rebecca S. Since brass, nor stone, nor earth, nor boundless sea, but sad mortality o'ersways their power, how with this rage shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Oh, how shall summer's honey breath hold out against the wrackful siege of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates of steel so strong but time decays? O fearful meditation, where alack shall time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid? Or what strong hand can hold his swift foot back, or who his spoil of beauty can forbid? O none, unless this miracle have might, that in black ink my love may still shine bright. End of sonnet. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain.
Sonnet VII by Francesco Petrarca. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. Those eyes, 'neath which my passionate rapture rose, the arms, hands, feet, the beauty that erewhile could my own soul from its own self beguile, and in a separate world of dreams enclose, the hair's bright tresses, full of golden glows, and the soft lightning of the angelic smile that changed this earth to some celestial isle, are now but dust, poor dust, that nothing knows. And yet I live. Myself I grieve and scorn, left dark, without the light I loved in vain, adrift in tempest on a bark forlorn. Dead is the source of all my amorous strain, dry is the channel of my thoughts outworn, and my sad harp can sound but notes of pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To My Beef Tea by Anonymous. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. To My Beef Tea by our dyspeptic poet. When the doctor's stern decree rings the knell of liberty, and dismisses from my sight all the dishes that delight, when my temperature is high, when to pastry and to pie duty bids me say farewell, then I hail thy fragrant smell. When the doctor shakes his head, banning wine, or white, or red, and at all my well-loved joints disapproving finger points, when my poultry too he stops, then, reduced to taking slops, I for solace and relief fly to thee, O tea of beef. But if simple truth I tell, I can brook thee none too well. Thy delights, O bovine tea, have no special charm for me. Though thou comest piping hot, O believe I love thee not. Weary of thy gentle reign, give me oysters and champagne. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
White Rose and Red by Augusta Webster. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. White rose sighed in the morn, red rose laughed in the noon, and sweetest sweetness is ended soon, and never heed for the thorn. Love's hour passes away, white rose breathed in my ear. Red rose whispered, no need to fear, the day is enough for day. Shall I heed white or red? Shall I heed both aright? Sighing and laughing, red and white, 'tis love her, they both have said. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Youth's Agitations by Matthew Arnold. Read for LibriVox.org by John N. Daly. When I shall be divorced some 10 years hence from this poor present self which I am now, when youth has done its tedious vain expense of passions that forever ebb and flow, shall I not joy youth's heats are left behind, and breathe more happy in an even clime? Ah, no! For then I shall begin to find 1,000 virtues in this hated time. Then I shall wish its agitations back, and all its thwarting currents of desire. Then I shall praise the heat which then I lack, and call this hurrying fever generous fire, and sigh that one thing only has been lent to youth and age in common, discontent. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.